Hey, with today's daily sprint, we're talking about increasing our purpose, passion, and meaning. And we're talking about understanding money and investing. And I just finished off The Psychology of Money, fantastic book. I would definitely recommend it for anyone. And just some really, really interesting things when we look at our spending habits. And maybe the next 2-3 minutes will increase some awareness for you and help you change your financial trajectory. I know some of this information has helped me out quite a bit so far. So from 1945 to 1973, wealth grew fairly balanced. Okay, what I mean by balanced is when our parents grew up then, credit cards were fairly new, interest rates were through the roof. So our parents weren't borrowing a ton of money. It just made like 0 sense here. I'm not talking like 30% interest rates, 20% interest rates. It was pretty high. So as far as like me growing up as a kid, I would look around. Okay, I'd see a station wagon over here. That's what my parents had. But neighbors, maybe they had like a minivan. They were high end or whatever. I just wasn't looking around to a bunch of Ferraris. You know what I mean? So we kind of grew up uniformly. Then from 1993 to 2012, the top 1% of the world grew 86%, while the middle class grew about 6.6%. Now, again, there's many economists that debate why that is. That's beyond the scope of what we're talking about, but that's what happened. But what also happened from 93 to 2012 was you started seeing like MTV Cribs and lifestyles of the rich and famous. So it started off with that and kind of the internet. Then it went from the internet to social media, and everywhere you looked, it's like Lamborghinis, and that 1% started to become the norm. But it wasn't the norm. It was the Fugazi. We just all knew more about it. So it became like, well, shoot. Everyone has, like my first 2 cars were rusted out. When was the last time you've seen a rusted out car? Ever. There aren't any. Leasing vehicles wasn't a thing in our parents' day. Now with all this awareness, it kind of like this self of entitlement showed up. And it's like, well, Jimmy's car ain't rusted out and he makes the same, if not less than me, so my car can't be rusted out. And we started to get sucked up into this comparative trap, when really what was happening is this 1% was just being magnified and brought as awareness that should have never really existed with the information age taking that on. So then we started to borrow our way to riches. It was the subconscious entitlement. Like, well, I'm not going to have a rusted out car. He doesn't have a rusted out car, and he doesn't even have a job. So I'm going to lease and start borrowing my way to riches. And that's what started to cause I wouldn't say the economic downturn, but that's what started to cause us drowning in debt as a society. So if we just kind of understand it, unfortunately, I don't have a huge solution. Okay, but if I look back and growing up with my parents, this was so true. I just wasn't aware of this guy or that guy. Like in our neighborhood, like if you had a scooter, like one of those push scooters, man, that was awesome. My parents did not have that. I had like a 7-time hand-me-down bike. So we're just more of aware. So just because you're aware of someone who makes $1 billion a month, and I'm not saying not to aspire towards that, but don't borrow your way to keep up with that. And that's exactly what we're doing. Again, could be on a subconscious level. So that was very impactful. This was very impactful to me because it does. When you look around, it just seems like, wow, everyone is loaded nowadays, And no, that is just, it's kind of like a Ponzi scheme. That's just what we're seeing on the surface value is this magnification of what appears as wealth. But what it is, it's a magnification of people borrowing. And just like a Ponzi scheme, you cannot borrow your way to wealth. So just some good food for thought. Love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have a great growth-driven rest of your day.